India, the Khalistan issue doesn't seem to be dying down anytime soon. And during his visit to the UK, India's External Affairs Minister Dr. S. Jaishankar has said that India is not ruling out an investigation into Canada's allegations. Canada has alleged the involvement of so-called agents of the Indian government in the killing of Khalistani terrorist Hardeep Singh Nijjar in Canada. But New Delhi now wants Ottawa to provide evidence to back its claims. Precisely why Dr. S. Jaishankar emphasized that Canada has not shared any evidence with India to support its allegations, hitting out at Canada for allowing its soil to be misused for pro-K propaganda. External Affairs Minister also said that Nijjar's track record was graphic on social media and that Canada allowed freedom of expression to be misused for political purposes. Listen in to what India's External Affairs Minister has to say.
You know, he has a track record which is there in the social media, and that track record is a pretty graphic one. So I would leave everybody to make their judgment when about a person whose pictures are there with weapons, who has taken positions. I mean, the positions are not secret; they are very public positions. Yeah. There is a previous history. For those who would be familiar with Lockerbie, we had a much bigger incident when an Air India plane, there were bombs put, in fact, on two planes. One fortunately landed before when the bomb went off, but the other one, there were 327 people who died when the plane crashed off Ireland. So given all this, I think it was important that a country like Canada, I mean, we are a democracy, we are a democracy, they are a democracy. But freedom of speech and freedom of expression also comes with a certain responsibility, and the misuse of those freedoms and the toleration of that misuse for political purposes would be, to our mind, very wrong.
So clearly, the evidence that Canada can provide is now becoming the bone of contention. And with that, let me introduce my guest today. I'm joined in by Terry Miliuski, who's a senior journalist. Terry, thank you for joining in. First of all, how do you weigh in on India's External Affairs Minister urging Canada to provide evidence? Of course, he has emphasized that India is willing to consider an investigation, but much continues to rest upon that evidence that Ottawa needs to provide.
Both sides have some questions to answer on this score, but first let me say that the Canadian position that they can go on like this without producing the goods, without laying out their evidence in public, is unsustainable. The excuses that have been offered to date won't wash. They're saying that they don't want to prejudice any future trial by revealing evidence. Well, excuse me, they've already prejudiced the future trial. If the Prime Minister gets up in the House of Commons and says you're guilty, the Indian government is guilty, then you've already prejudiced the trial. So that horse has already bolted. It's also true, I think, that they're offering the excuse that, well, we don't want to give away our sources and methods. That would be bad for the Five Eyes intelligence sharing. It's all supposed to be confidential. Well, I'm sorry, that horse has also left the barn. That ship has sailed. I mean, we've already revealed there have been a plentiful leaks from the Canadian side to the effect that we have signals intelligence. We were bugging Indian diplomats. We have them on tape. So you've already given away. I mean, it's not that this is going to be a surprise to any modern diplomat that all intelligence services are doing this everywhere. Of course, you expect that. So the excuses being offered by the Canadians are not sufficient to justify the refusal to produce the goods in public.